Welcome to World 94 Diecast Racing. I am your host, Cletus Papadopoulos, along with my co-hosts Chuck McAvee and Scooter Douglas. Today, you're watching round one of the F1 Racer Series. Whoa! What a way to kick off the F1 series. If that doesn't get you excited, then you don't have a post. I'm Cletus Papadopoulos, and I'm here with my co-hosts Chuck McAvee and Scooter Douglas. Forgive me, that just got me a little fired up. No apologies, Cletus. That was absolutely amazing. We're ready to kick things off for round one of the F1 Racer Series, and I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited to be here at this time, at this moment, at this place. Chuck and Cletus, just listen to this crowd. That's what it's all about. 12 of some of the best drivers across the United States and the world have gathered here at War 94 to compete in the F1 Racer Series. This is a 4-race series, and each race, the grid will be set by Superpole. That's one blistering lap around World 94's Motorsports Complex. Also, everyone's competing for the coveted Harrison Cup. In addition, the winner of this series will receive a gift card, and all competitors will receive some cool Pro Track swag. Competitors will be awarded points per lap. 5 points for first place, 3 points for second, 2 points for third, and 1 point for fourth, all the way through 12. There will be a 25-point bonus for whoever crosses the finish line first on the final lap, 15 for second, and 10 for third. War 94 has recently merged with ProTrack, who utilizes 3D printing to create gravity race cars, tracks, and dioramas. Before we get you to the race action, we're going to take a quick break to bring you some exciting news about their products. So grab a snack and come on back, because you don't want to miss a moment of the F1 Racer Series. Get ready for something new. We're not making die-cast cars. We're making gravity race cars. We're not trying to replace the popular brands out there today, but rather give you a new option. With the advances of 3D printing, we feel it has the potential to change the game. The center of gravity can be lowered by utilizing a PLA plastic body. That's why we feel, in time, this product will be a superior product for gravity racing. For more information about all the products we offer, please visit us on Facebook at ProTrack GRC. And again, we're not making die-cast cars. We're making gravity race cars. And here are your 11 competitors ready to compete to be crowned champion of War 94's F1 Racer Series. Now this track, as many know, it's grueling and it's unforgiving in nature. I believe our first competitor is ready. Let's go to the start gate on the track side. Up first and ready to make his qualifying run is Randy Tooth Fairy Jr., and he's racing for Team Silverbacks. Cletus, I must tell you, Randy sent in a beautiful entry, and this is his first time at 194. What do you think? Well, Scooter, this is the first time an F1 racer has gone down this track, so I'm up in the air about it. And Randy stops the clock with a nice time of 8.42 seconds. That's going to land him in P1 for now. His team has to be happy with that run. Cletus, I can tell you, as Randy crossed the finish line, his team was elated. Nothing but cheers from everyone in that pit garage. Another newcomer to War 94 is WD-40 racing for Code 3 Motorsports, driving the number 23 car. With this being the second car down the track, we can start to establish a baseline for time and find out who's going to be fast. During the practice session, all of the team's lap times were fairly consistent with one another. WD-40 stops the clock with a time of 9.00 seconds. P2 for now. I'm sure the team is not happy with that run. Cletus, I did speak to the lead engineer at Code 3 Motorsports, and he did not appear to be worried with this time. He was quick to remind me this is a 10-lap race and anything can happen. Absolutely. We've seen it in many races. The fastest car doesn't always win. Up next, we have Alex Patron with Rev Era Media. This is Alex's first time here at War 94, but he's a close affiliate, and I believe he should do very well in qualifying and throughout this series. That's a nice run for Alex with a time of 8.45 seconds. That's going to land him in P2 for now. Cletus, one important thing to remember is this is a 4-race series. What's going to be important is how these teams can manage and hold up over that time span. Making the trip all the way down the East Coast from New Jersey is Wally Champ and his team, New Jersey Drive Racing. Wally Champ is a newcomer to War 94, and we're excited to have him racing in this series. Cletus, that crimson and white Audi is menacing on the track. I hope it's as fast as it looks. That's a very solid time for Wally Champ. 8.48 seconds is going to put him in P3. That's a good spot. According to team officials, they feel this car has a lot more in it. This qualifying run was very conservative for them, and when it comes race time, they're going to spice things up a little bit. Well, Chuck, we're going to be eagerly waiting his performance when it comes race time. Up next, Nakasuka Wasabi from RV Autosports. Now, Nakasuka is pulling double duties as he's racing in supercars as well. If it's a team that can pull off those capabilities, it's going to be RVA Autosports. RV Autosports is off the pace a little bit as Nakasuka is only able to clock a 9.12 seconds, and that's going to land him at the bottom of the grid. Cletus, while looking at the replay footage, Nakasuka had a clean run. However, the top end speed just wasn't there. They'll get this vehicle running correctly when it comes race time. I'm sure they will, Chuck. Up next in the gate and ready to make her qualifying run, the only female in this competition, Regina Milford from War 94 Diecast Racing. Cletus, while I'm a bit biased, I'm hopeful and I'm worried, as Regina has never been in an F1 car. She has a learning curve to overcome to compete with the other drivers. Regina stops the clock with a time of 8.79 seconds, and she's going to put that silver arrow in P4 for now. Cletus, before this run, I asked Regina, was she intimidated being the only female driver in this series and she said absolutely not. In fact, she used Xantippe and Thina Neeson for inspiration. I tell you what, I watched her in practice and she handled the car very well. Next up in the gate, ready to make their qualifying run, is Mr. K&N from Big Pear Racing. This is also another driver who's previously competed at Warren I-4 and is currently competing in the Supercar series.
Cletus, this is my favorite paint job in this series, an exact replica of a McLaren.
Mr. K&N stops the clock with a time of 8.99 seconds, and that's going to be P5 for him. This was not quite the time that this team wanted, but they'll take it. I'm sure when it comes to race time, they'll be up to par and racing with the front of the group.
I know we talked about it before, but you got to remember, all of these cars are racing all at once. And the important thing to remember, some cars, while fast in qualifying, they don't race very well. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out.
Scooter, that's a good point. But right now we have the number 69 of the Arlo Racing Team and their driver Arlo in the gate, set to make his run. And Arlo smokes the course, putting up the fastest time of 8.41 seconds, and he's going to move into P1. This team was the fastest in all 3 practice sessions, and they're going to be difficult to contend with. They have a really good team, the engineers are smart, and they're well balanced.
I'm just left speechless at that speed. Back to you, Cletus.
My favorite driver, Samu Nasuka from the mighty Mokon competition, is in the gate, ready to make his qualifying run. Now, Nasuka is experienced at War 94, and in fact, he's in second place for the Open Wheel Series. Nasuka crosses the line with a time of 8.88 seconds, and that's going to put him in P6. Nasuka and his team, they know their way around this course, and they know how to handle an open wheel car. Regardless of the time, you can expect him to be at the front of the pack, leading the charge, potentially for a win. Scooter Rundell and his team Spirit of 64 Racing is new to War I-4, but they're well known in the gravity racing circuit. He brings a lot of experience with him, and I expect him to be very competitive. Scooter Rundell stops the clock at a time of 8.85 seconds, snatching P6 away from Nasuka. That's a good time for Spirit of 64 Racing and their driver Scooter Rundell. They're going to continue to work on this vehicle, and they're going to make it faster, and you can expect them to shake things up before it's all said and done.
Spirit of 64 says it all in their name, and you best believe they're going to have a whole lot of fight in them.
As the saying goes, it ain't the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. All the way from Canada, White Knuckle Motoring Speed Shop, and their driver, the Crazy Canuck, driving the number 53 car. He's the last driver to make his qualifying run. The Crazy Canuck stops the clock with a time of 8.95 seconds, and he'll start the race at P8. These guys are new to the circuit, but once they figure things out, man, watch out, because they're well organized. Before we get out of here, here's your grid for round 1. On the front row pole, Arlo with a time of 8.41 seconds, followed by Randy Tooth Fairy Jr. with a time of 8.42 seconds. Alex Patron will be in P3 with a time of 8.45 seconds, followed by Wally Champ with a time of 8.48 seconds. And starting on row number 2, Regina Milford with a time of 8.79 seconds, Scooter Ronwell with a time of 8.85 seconds, Samu Nasuka with a time of 8.88 seconds, followed by the Crazy Canuck with a time of 8.95 seconds. And closing things out on row 3, Mr. K&N with a time of 8.99 seconds, WD-40 with a time of 9.00 seconds, and Nakasuka Wasabi with a time of 9.12 seconds. Well, ladies and gentlemen, That's our time. We'll see you in a few short days for round 1 of the F1 Series Racer. On behalf of my co-hosts Chuck McAfee, Scooter Douglas, and Regina Milford, I'm your host, Cletus Papadopoulos. Thank you for watching. God bless and good night.
More on I-4 Gravity Racing.